don't know my story. They don't know my story. Nope, they don't know my story.
This is a place where survivors can be seen and be heard and be loved and be free. A place where no judgment comes into mind. This is your moment to shine. People gon' talk, yeah. Haters gon' say what they wanna say, but keep doing you, girl. Cause there will be a brighter day. People gon' talk, people gonna talk, yeah. And haters gon' say what they wanna say.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Survivor's Voice with Alissa R. Jones. And we want to thank you for joining us tonight. I am your host tonight, Alissa Rochelle Jones. I am the CEO and founder of the Survivor's Voice Foundation. I am also an author, and I am also a Barack Obama Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. I am excited about tonight's show because we have an amazing show for you. I have to say, they've all been amazing so far, but this one for me is a dear friend of mine. But not only that, I just recently learned about some of the things that she has been through. And the topic tonight is in a blink of an eye, the drive-by shooting that should have killed me. Now, if that topic alone didn't catch your attention, I can't tell you how excited I am for Kimberly to share with us tonight, but also how excited that she's here to tell the story. So I have to introduce Kimberly. Not only is she a friend of mine, but she's also my graphic artist. So all these graphics that you've been seeing with everybody, and all of the things that you've been seeing for the show has been her as well. But, I'm just excited to learn about her testimony and the awesome testimony that you're going to hear tonight, because Kimberly is an amazing person. She's became a personal friend. And so I want to introduce to you tonight, Kimberly Ann Howard.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well. And again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, because I know that, reliving these testimonies and reliving this event is going to be hard for you. But I firmly believe that we're going to bless some people tonight, and we're going to definitely, open the eye of making people more aware of their surroundings. But just the fact that you're still here to even share the testimony is amazing in itself. So first thing I would like you to do is kind of walk us up to what you were doing prior to this happening that day.
Yes, so pretty much prior to everything that happened, we were actually going to Louisiana because I'm actually a native of Louisiana. And so what we were doing is we were going to help someone with a car show. And myself being a graphic designer, I wanted to make sure that, when you give somebody your word, you try to live up to that. And so
Right.
we were actually, like I said, going to help someone with a car show. And what happened was we was just getting everything together. But God was actually giving warning before. You know how you heard that saying warning before destruction? And actually that is exactly what he was doing, because he kept showing me before, even weeks prior to, like, hey, you need to slow down, because at that time in my life, I was just going. I'm getting ready to turn 30, 29 at the time. And my business was at a peak. It was just growing. And so I was not being still. I was just moving. I was in the world. And I know a lot of you understand when you're in the world, you're doing things that you need to slow down and you need to stop. And God will make you stop. He will make you be still. And that's exactly what happened. Yes, that's exactly what happened. So just that day.
So what I was going to ask you, because I heard you say there were some warning signs prior to, can you share with us what some of those warning signs were that you, looking back now, that you would have taken heed to, but you didn't?
Right. So pretty much, a lot of times he kept saying, okay, you need to be still. You need to just stay here in Texas. But again, I kept saying, you know what, let me go ahead and go. And then I was like, I'm going to stay in the hotel room and just let everyone else go. And at the end of the day, I still took my butt and went. And, it was leading up, he just kept saying, you need to stop. You need to not go. Even on the road going, there's a fire on the side of the road. So we had to take a detour just to get to where we needed to go. And it was just so many different things that just kept coming up, from him saying, you're tired, because I was like beat. I needed rest with the fire. And also, too, a few weeks prior to, I was getting ready to take a shower, and something just kept saying, like, you're going to die. That's what came to me. And I'm like, no, the devil's a lie. And so I prayed about it, but I kept thinking, oh, I'm about to turn 30. So that means everything go downhill. You get those sayings like, oh, once you hit 30, you're old, stuff. So I'm thinking like, oh, I'm about to get bad. I just all that, but God was actually preparing me for that, because I was praying more than I've ever prayed, waking up in the middle of the night praying, because he was actually setting everything into place. Those prayers is what I needed to get through what was ahead of me, because I did not know my life turned upside down. It changed, and it's been about 4 or 5 years later, and I'm still trying to get over it. I struggle every day with pain or something, but with God, all things are possible.
Yeah, definitely. So if you don't mind, and I know it's going to be tough for you, but walk us through that night as you were driving and how everything changed in a blink of an eye.
Yes. So before, and kind of going back a little bit, before it happened, I had like 2 or 3 car accidents. And so at that moment when it happened, I thought I thought I had a blowout on my tire. But as I was driving down the road, first we were at the car show. Normally I'm there and I'm entertaining people. I'm just, but this time something was just off. I was more reserved. I wasn't all in people's faces talking about, the event and things like that. But I was kind of reserved, kind of standoffish. That was kind of strange, because that's not me. Normally I'm entertaining, talking. And so as we got ready to leave, there was warnings on the car, saying like the tire was low, the pressure was low. So it gets out and check the tire to see what's going on. We trying to find food with so many different things. And to me, that was God slowing things down, because we could have been in a rush and really rushed into something that could have killed me or killed everyone in the car, because there were 4 of us in the car. And so as I was driving, like I said, I thought it was a blowout, and I just heard loud sounds. And as I stopped and turned on the light, I realized I had been shot. I didn't even know that I was shot, because I guess I was so busy trying to make sure everyone else was okay. Everyone else in the car had been shot too, except for one person. And so I'm trying to make sure everyone's okay. And then when I turned the light on, I realized it was blood in my flesh. It was just everywhere. And so as I sat there, I just started to pray. And I just started to tell everyone to know that it's going to be okay. And normally you would think someone will be out of control screaming, but I was just
right
now.
I know I would have been.
Yes.
You better glad your friend wasn't in the car with you that day, Kim, because I would have died just looking at the blood, girl, for real. Right. I would have been asleep like this. Like you can't even walk, like seriously. Oh my gosh.
And so as I sat there, and as you say, blood, I did not know I was sitting in my blood. It was just a pool of blood, and it was hot. It was just hot. And now thinking back, I thank God, because all of those car accidents that I had, I was able to stop the car. If I wasn't able to stop the car, we could have went off into hit a tree or something of the kind. But God allowed me to move my leg and put it on the brake, and I could not move it after that because I was shot through both of my legs, breaking my femur. So, we don't understand things that we've been through in life, but those car accidents allowed me to get to that situation, to handle that situation. And I can remember as I sat there in blood, I prayed and I said, God, if I am paralyzed, I know that I will be able to get through this. And thank God I wasn't. But I thought at that moment that I was not going to be able to walk again, because it was something that you will never understand. You see things like this on movies. You see people go through things like this, that you will go through it. And then being at this point, still not knowing who did it and why, that took a toll on me. So, I went through not only being physically hurt, but also being mentally, emotionally, like everything. So just knowing that God is good and He can supply all your needs, that is what got me through. And I had a relationship with Him, knowing that whatever it was, if I couldn't walk again, I know that I still was going to be able to make it through, because in a blink of an eye, my life changed. I was just with hundreds of people, enjoying, listening to music and just living life. And then moments later, my world turned upside down.
So, Kim, walk us through that moment you seen the blood. Walk us through what was going through your mind. I know you said you was praying, and I hear you, but what was going through your mind?
At that moment, I was afraid, because I was that whoever did, because you got to think, I'm in the country. It's Louisiana, one of these back roads. It's dark. There are no street lights. We're used to street lights and signs and lights, but it's dark. You can't even see when you move your hand in front of your face. So I'm thinking that they're gonna come back. Whatever just happened, they're gonna come back. So I'm telling everyone, of the person that wasn't shot, I'm saying, hey, can you get out of the car and go and get help? I kept telling her that, go get help. But moments later, when we stopped at the store before we got shot, there was a police officer there. And moments later, he came to the scene, and he was like, I just saw you all. So it was like everything was just working. God had everything planned out for us. But at that very moment, I was afraid, because I thought that they're coming back. Because evidently, if they shot us, that means they wanted to kill me. They wanted to kill everyone in this car. That is exactly what was going on in my head, in my mind at that moment. And not even just that, I was trying to keep everyone else in the car calm. Yeah.
So the police officer got there. He called an ambulance. What happened from that moment?
So and I can see this in my head right now. I remember a lot of flashing lights. Even to this day, I do not like flashing police lights, because it takes me, it's a trigger back to that moment. So many people on the scene, where it probably was about 5 minutes or so, it seemed like 5 hours. It felt like no one was coming fast enough. By this time, as I'm sitting, I'm feeling like, okay, I'm bleeding a lot, and I'm kind of feeling a little pain at this point. But it was just everything was just happening, and I can see it, like I said, out in my head, in my mind at this very moment.
So you get into the ambulance and you get to the hospital. Walk us through, what do you remember? Because I think in my mind, I'm wondering who called the police, not who called the police, but who called your family? I know you had to go through surgery, and in a minute we'll show some of the pictures of what you went through, and and I just want to forewarn the viewers that some of them may be graphic for you, but we're going to show injury on her leg and show some of the recovery that she was able to go through. But just walk us through when you got to the hospital, kind of what happened and what you remember.
Yes. So first of all, I was airlifted to the hospital. I did not ride in an ambulance. They actually airlifted. But leading up to they were trying to, get an IV and stuff started. Could not get an IV started. So before I got into the helicopter, they was like, okay, so do you want to call someone? And I'm like, no, I don't want to call anyone. I don't want to call anyone. But they asked me again. And so at that moment, I knew that I had to call my mom because I did not. That actually hurt worse than me getting shot because my mom has lost 2 kids. I never wanted to put her through that and through domestic abuse. She let me go through it. So I did not want to put her through that. But knowing that I had to do that at that moment, that's exactly what I did. And as I got her on the phone, I told her, hey, you hear my voice, you see that I'm alive, but I need you to get someone to get you to the hospital. And so when I got to the hospital, this is something that's totally left. But as I got to the hospital and they were getting ready to prepare me for surgery, I had just purchased a Victoria's Secret bra. And so they started to cut the bra off. I'm like, did I just spend over $40-something for this bra?
Okay.
But they didn't. So
the Victoria's Secret bras is expensive. Girl, forget about that bra. We care about your life. Girl, your life.
Right. But as I laid there, I'm able to see people coming and walking through. And again, they're still trying to get IVs started. They went here and there and ended up in the helicopter going back. They had to go through my neck to get an IV started. And so just imagine my neck. And so I'm just laying there on the table before they get ready to take me. And I feel violated because I'm here naked. There are so many people around me and they're working on me, trying to make sure that they can get me into surgery so that they can get everything done and take care of me. And again, that moment came back over me again. Am I safe? Because again, I don't know what happened. I don't know why someone would do this to me. And just even being there around other people, I was still afraid at that moment.
Right. And actually, we actually have one of the viewers asking, why were they after the car maybe, or you think it was a mistake of identity?
I've ran through everything. I went through every scenario, and to this day, I don't know why. But if someone is listening, if someone is viewing, I hope that you are able to contact or give some kind of information, because I know I have some viewers that's watching as well. If someone knows, that would be greatly appreciated, because me being a mother, just knowing that someone would have that intention, even though I know God has taken care of it, but at the end of the day, just knowing that someone tried to kill me, tried to kill the other people who were in the car, tried to take our lives, tried to take from our children, our families, that just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure it doesn't. One of the viewers is wanting to know, as far as the emotional side of it, did you have to go to counseling? What was your process to get through this ordeal?
Yes, I definitely have to go to counseling. I actually still have a counselor now, a therapist that I see often, and just being have a support system. My family flooded us. They came to sit in my bedside, like they came, and I thank God for my family. But yes, definitely, we can talk about prayer. We can talk about, different things like that. But we also need someone in the flesh that has the experience, the knowledge to help us get over the things that we go through and the things that we face. So yes, anyone that has any traumatic experience, I definitely recommend that you get professional help.
Yeah, and I would add to that, beyond professional help, just really connecting to somebody that will, help you get through it. I know, just like you said, your family helped you through it, but just having those close knit of people can make a difference than if you were going through this just by yourself. So walk us through, after you got out of surgery,
Mm-hmm.
that process that you had to go through. Because I think when I heard you say, you said, I was hoping I wasn't paralyzed. What was the moment that you knew that, you got through surgery and you would have to go through the process of healing and learning how to walk again? Because I'm sure that was a process as well.
Right. Well, going back a little bit before I answer the question, I realized that my femur was broken on the scene before they moved me from the car. And one of the police officers, I asked him what happened to me, what's going on, and he immediately said,
Yeah.
"Your femur, you've been shot," and he said, "Your
Yeah.
femur is broken." And the femur is like
Mm.
one of the largest bones in our body. It's the strongest.
Okay. Okay.
So therefore, when he told me that, he said, "But you will be fine." He said because he broke his as well, and it took him over a year or so. Like we having a conversation while I'm sitting here, and he was like,
Right.
over a year or so for him to learn to run again. He said, "But you will
Yeah.
help us on the way." So he was basically trying to keep me calm at that moment. But learning to walk again was one of the hardest things because I'm not used to asking for help. And if you know or anyone else knows,
Yeah.
having to ask for help, I would rather just try to get it how I can get it. But at this moment, again, God said,
Yes.
I'm
We
teaching
stubborn
you.
women at that.
Right. Right. We don't like to ask for help. And I had to ask for help. I had to ask others to, while I was even in the hospital, my sister had to come and bathe me. They had to bring me food. I lost so much weight in that process because I could not get up to get my food. Others had to bring it to me. And then just with all the different things that my body, lost at that moment or during that time, that was a breaking point for me because again, I'm embarrassed because we have this thing made up in our minds that, okay, you only see things like this on the TV. You only see things like this from others who do this. And me being in the life that I was in, I was used to helping and people saw me the way that they did. So something like this happening to me, it's like, what? People start talking and then rumors and all this. Social media was just crazy. My kids had to find out on Facebook. Someone posted a video on Facebook of it happening. And so before they even knew that I was okay, that said it was okay, they had to find out that way. So learning to walk again was challenging. And that's a challenge every day because, they immediately got me up a day after surgery saying like, you have to get up. Of course, they wanted whatever they wanted. They wanted to get me going.
And while you're talking, I'm gonna show your picture. So keep talking.
So I had to learn to do all of that over again. I think that picture that you saw right now was actually the day after surgery. So if you see, I'm bandaged up. My son was actually there at that point helping me, pushing me. Okay, Mom, you got this. And that was hurting. That was shameful, just knowing that I can't walk. And again, that fear came again because it's like, I still don't know. Even though they had us under an alias name in the hospital, I still, every time the door would open, I'm up trying to see what's going on because this was something that I never would have imagined happening to myself. So I had to go through physical therapy. I still have to do therapy now. I had to, of course, like I told you, go to a therapist to help build my self-esteem, to just work with anxiety and different things like that. So it definitely has been a challenge.
So walk us through that process of the mental capacity that you have to learn to walk again.
Yes, learning to walk again was something that I had to definitely use everything that I had listened to as a child. I would hear my mom, my godmothers, and older women talk about, different struggles that they had to go through. So I had to use everything that I had learned and apply it to what I was going through. I watched so many different videos on YouTube and so many different testimonies of people learning to walk again, to learn to build my courage. But in the process of all of that, by me going through that, I still was helping the people that were supposed to help me. And what I mean is my therapist. I'm telling her my story, and I ended up helping her. The person, my physical therapist, I'm telling her I'm learning to walk. I've been shot, and I end up helping her. So, and I built lifelong relationships with both of them because of it. So, you have to be mentally prepared, because we take our limbs for granted. We take being able to put shoes on, being able to put your pants on, being able to just get up and go to use the restroom. We take that for granted. And me having to learn all of those things over again was something that has changed my life and made me more appreciative of the things that God has given me as a person.
Yeah. Someone wants to know, how did you bless those two people that you mentioned? How did you bless them with just sharing your story?
Well, I blessed them because at the end of the day, as I was sharing my story, they opened up about things that they've been through. And it was like the role reversed. And I was the therapist, I was the counselor, and I was helping them. I'm scratching my head like, what just happened? Like, they supposed to be helping.
Right.
It was amazing because, again, we connect at certain points for a reason. No connection is not for a reason. We learn something from every connection that we have. I hope that someone is learning something from this connection. I've learned so much from
sure.
Understand, like, just within about a year or so, I've learned so much from you and got inspiration from you as well. So you have to continue to push and do what you're doing, because you are helping others as well for just even this platform.
Oh, thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
And I thank you for helping me, because I'm like, listen, you stay on top of me to make sure that, I keep going. And I think that's the amazing thing about friendship and relationships, because sometimes when we get to a moment of disappointment or discouragement, you need those people to push you and believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So I appreciate you sharing that with me, because it means a lot to me. One of the things that I want you to talk about is through the process of this drive-by shooting, walk us through some of the changes that you had to make moving forward with what in your daily routine today.
Right. So one thing that I have definitely changed and still working on is, when I told you guys in the beginning, I was putting my clients before everything. I was putting my clients before my family, before my health, before everything. And at that moment, I got shot. Before I even went into surgery, I sent out the link from the news and everything. Like, I hadn't even had surgery. I was in the bed. I sent a link out to all of my clients that I was working with at that point, telling me what was going on. And I still had a client that did not care. So that showed me at that moment that, hey, Kimberly, you need to have a reality check. You're at the lowest point in your life, and you still have people that are not appreciative, that only want what they want. So I then realized I got to change everything. I got to change up some stuff, because I was putting other things in my business first, and I was not putting God first, and I was not allowing him to lead me to where I needed to be in life. So that's one thing that changed dramatically. And then another thing is, when God showed me, or he says something, when he says stop or he says no, you need to listen. That other thing is follow your first mind. You definitely need to follow your first mind, because it won't lead you wrong at all.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on the person didn't care. Like, I'm still stuck on that comment, because, people will get selfish about, what they need, and you could have died. You know what I mean? And you're telling me that all you care about is the business part of it? And some people can be so self-centered and narcissistic when
Mhm.
it comes to somebody else's need. And I know for me, I've had to check myself in that area because I have gotten so bad of wanting what I want, and I really had to step back and check myself
Mhm.
about caring about what the other person has going on.
Mhm.
So if they can't handle something at that time, give them grace to be able to do so because they have a life. And sometimes we get so consumed with what we want, we don't understand that the person that is servicing us still has a life.
Mhm.
So,
And I've had to learn that too.
yeah.
And at that point, that's when I realized, okay, Kimberly, the way you've been treating people, you need to get it together because you see how it feels.
Hmm.
So yes, I had to definitely learn that, and I also throughout that process, just learning to be
Keep
able,
talking, Kim. I got to step away just for a second, but keep talking.
just learning to live. At one point, I was not living, and I was living in fear. So now I know that hey, things have happened just because it's kind of like how I tell my kids, just because you have been dealt these things, this hand of cards, that does not deck of cards, that does not mean that you're not a winner. You just have to learn how
Right.
to play the cards differently. And that's what I've had to
Hmm.
learn. I've had to learn that I can't put my trust in everyone because people will let you down.
Yeah.
And if you feel something or something does not sit right with your spirit, it's best not to do it. And
Yeah.
because I know I look over my shoulder, especially now, because it's like I got to make sure no one's over there trying to do X, Y, and Z. And then I had to realize, no, you cannot live like that. You have to forgive
Yeah.
those people or that person or whatever that did what they did to you. You have to forgive them in order to heal and in order to go into what God has for me.
Now let's talk about the forgiveness part because one of the viewers did ask about the forgiveness process and have you gotten to a place of forgiveness where it comes to whoever may have done this drive-by shooting?
Yes, I've definitely that came a while ago. At one point, I could not even talk about it without crying. I went through every emotion
Hmm.
of to where I wanted to go back and I wanted to go and hurt everybody that was there because in my heart I feel that there's people that know, but they won't.
Yeah.
I've went through everything, but then it came to me like, okay, Kimberly, again, you cannot stop living because they did what they did to you. But you also got to understand because you're a parent. No parent in their right mind raises a child or births a child in order for them to do things or to try to kill someone. So that's when
Hmm.
I started praying for the parents first before I even prayed for the person or the people that did it because it's like I felt for them. My heart went out to them because who wants to have that burden, or who has to want to go through that or know that their child would do something to or harm someone. So the forgiveness came a while ago, and when I realized,
Hmm.
and it happened so quick because I kept saying, I want to know who did it. And I was just upset. I was calling the detectives. I was saying, okay, I'm about to put up a reward. I'm about to put all these things. I'm just trying to figure it all out. And then God say, I know, I got this. You need to just do what you have to do and be there for yourself and the people around you and know that I spared your life and stop worrying about the other stuff. Everyone will have their day. This is like when I do wrong. I have my day that I have to give an account of the things that I've done wrong and the people that I've hurt. Yes. So healing took place a while ago. And it's still something that will continue to grow as I, because again, I do have triggers. It's nothing that's going to just go away, but I do have triggers, especially when I see different things. And sometimes I don't even
Right.
feel that the detectives and the
Mm.
even handled the situation the way that they should have. So that's another story. But it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I definitely know that whatever it is that you go through in life, that you will be able to come out if you just stay focused, if you just keep your eye
Yeah.
on God and know
Yeah.
that. And I was,
So walk us through, after this happened, how do you love on your family now?
oh wow, I realized I had to love on my family inside my home. Not saying not outside, but I definitely have
Yeah.
to love my family inside of my
Inside
home.
your home. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, those are the ones that's going to be affected the most. Those are going to be the ones that, if
Mhm.
you don't
Mhm.
open your eyes up, that's going to have to
Mhm.
struggle. Everybody else is going to go on Facebook or whatever, rest in peace, and then they're going on about their business. But these are the ones inside of the home that's going to have to deal with it and learn a new way of life. So I just love on them as much. And it also showed me, and that it was like kind of like with this pandemic that's going on right now. That's kind of what happened. It changed a lot of things. So it changed my daughter, it changed my son, it changed my relationship, it changed everything, to where things that we used to worry about or we used to fuss about, it did not phase us as much anymore. So that was something that I had to learn, and to love on my family, because at the end of the day, those were the ones that had to just step up and take care of me and just help me get through it.
Yeah, that's real good because, I know for me, if, I went through a tragic experience like that, the way I love will be just a little bit different.
Mhm.
Because, really your life changed.
That's right.
So walk us through, how do I want to put it? Walk us through that moment where you realized you had to let it go. And what I mean by let it go is the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. Because, when you go through something like that, you kind of replay in your mind, what if you did XYZ differently? Walk us through that.
Yes. When I realized, because again, like you said, you go through everything, you go through every scenario, you try to figure it out, you try to analyze everything. When I saw that it was consuming me, that it was hurting my relationships with others, because before I can get to that point to where I realized that I had to be there and love on people and love on my family, I had to go through that first. I had to go through learning to trust again, because I trust no one at that point. I would not even drive at night. I would not even go outside at night. A lot of things
Yeah.
changed. And I realized, my uncle, matter of fact, he realized, he came to me and he was like, "You're strong. You are very, very strong. You're going
Yeah.
to allow this to come in and take over and consume you." And it was like he slapped me upside my face. He's like, "You got to get it together. You are built for this." And that's when I realized
Yeah.
put too much energy into this. If I would have stayed there, then I would not have been physically dead, but I would have been in a, like, really mentally paralyzed, because everything that they wanted, they would have gotten. They would not have killed me, but they would have killed me, if that would have made sense. Every talent that I had, because
No, it makes sense.
I did not even want to design again. I went through that process. And somebody that I designed for, because it was in the entertainment business. So I'm like, did I design for them? Did they think I have all this money? Like, what made them do this to me? And then I realized it's not for you to know. When it's time, God will show it. Just like He revealed everything else, He will show it in it. And I realized I might not ever get those answers. And that's okay, because I'm still here
Yeah.
to fight another day.
Yeah. So with what the way this happened, do you do well, I know you do your business a little bit differently, but walk us through that process on some things that you had to change after this happened, whether it's business, family, you know what I mean? Just walk us through that part.
Right. Yes, definitely with business, I changed a lot. At one point, I was just going freely, meeting people, getting payments, cash pay, just different things. I realized you cannot trust people. You cannot just
Mhm.
go randomly to different places to meet them. So I started to make sure that I had a strategic plan, that I did not deter off of it, because at the end of the day, most of the time we're hurt by people that know us. So I feel that they knew my way of moving. They knew our way of moving. So therefore, because think about it, a stranger, most of the time they don't study the way that someone that knows you study. And what hurts the most, because they know in there and get to you. So I just realized I had to change things up like a lot. I could not just, a lot of times we want to say, because if you remember what I said in the beginning, we gave them our word, and our word was to help them with their car show. And sometimes you need to back off, because that's not what we have. That's what our flesh wants us to do, but that's not what God has for us at that moment. And I'm sorry, I know I talk about God because He's the only one that brought me out. Because if
you're supposed to,
I would have been a long time ago, and that would have been. So yes, it was because of Him and His grace and mercy that allowed me to realize that I'm still here for a reason.
Yeah, you are. One of them is for me, but we're gonna talk about that another day. So I have one of the viewers that is asking, and you're gonna double back a little bit, but they're asking about your children because your children found out on social media. So they want to know, how did your children, go through this process and get through this process with what happened to you?
Wow. Yes. So that is a good question. So the children had to, first of all, school was getting ready to start. So they could not start school because it happened in Louisiana. We live in Texas. So I was in the hospital for a few weeks. And that hurt, because it's like, I'm a mom. I want my kids to go to school. I want their education comes first. Yeah. So we had to, first of all, go to school. Even to this day, you still have kids that try to say things like, "Oh, that's why your mom got shot." Kids are cruel, just like
mean.
They're very mean. And so my daughter, she was, I want to say 8 or 9 at the time. So she immediately became mom. She started cooking full course meals since that time. So she stepped up, just female would do, step up and to the occasion and try to fix it. Same way with the boys. They, became more protective. They wanted to make sure everybody that I was good. Everybody rose to it. And to this day, we are close because of that situation. We realize that we can't take it for granted. But I'm so glad for this today, because sometimes we move and we've been moving so much and doing so much so we forget these little things like this. So this kind of, remember, I'm grateful for, the things that God has given. But my son, he's so with Kamora, she's definitely, mommy, like she wants to take care of everything. So they had to grow up. It's kind of like I was saying earlier. It was like the pandemic, how it has changed the world. That pandemic since came into my home, and it changed them, where they had to grow up a little bit faster and realize that, hey, I got to do what I got to do to pull my weight for my family.
Right. And how do they protect you today?
Oh, wow. Cameron is like, okay, mom, where are you going? Typical boy thing. And, I can't, like right now, my legs hurt. They're making sure that they're there. Even open the door, walking, that they are always there to make sure if mom falls, I'm there. So they're always there trying to make sure everything's okay.
That's good. And one of the viewers wants to know, you just mentioned that you're in pain. What kind of pain do you have, even with learning how to walk and things like that? Because I know you shared with me what was going on, because my crazy self asked you to go skating before I even knew about any of this. But walk that viewer through, some of the pain that you're experiencing today.
Right. So on a daily basis, there is, I have chronic pain. I've been diagnosed with chronic pain. So on a
Mm-hmm.
daily basis, there is some kind of pain. Normally during this time of the year, because it's cold when the weather changes, my legs,
Yeah.
I fall sometime because they will buckle and go out or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the pain that I go through on a daily basis. Some days are better than others, and yes, we are going to go skating. You put that in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make that happen.
Girl, I won't be able to take it if something happened to you. You so we'll have to pray about that one.
Yes, yes.
But
Or working with heels.
so share
I,
with the viewers.
oh, go ahead. I was
No,
just
I
saying.
was going to ask you to share with the viewers what
Mhm.
is in your legs at this particular time currently.
Yes, I have a rod um, from it goes up from my knee up to my hip. So I have a titanium rod. So that is something, a whole nother um, different type of level, that the pain that like I said, that I have to endure because of that. But yes, I have a titanium rod.
Okay. Any screws or anything in your legs?
Yes, I have screws in my from my knee. I have some screws, and then also in my hip, I have screws as well.
Okay. How does sleeping, with that, how does that work for you?
Oh,
Is
sleeping
it
is definitely
painful?
hard.
Is it hard to get comfortable?
Yes, it's definitely hard to get comfortable, and it's on my right side. So normally I have to sleep on my left side. I'm always twisting,
Mhm.
turning, because I have to sleep with a pillow or something, because I don't like for my knees to touch. When you're laying on your
Yeah.
side, you have to sleep with something in between. So it's not comfortable. Something that I've learned to adjust with. Um, Hip hurts. I have to get injections in my hip as well as my knee for pain and for me being inflamed and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. So, what I want you to share with the viewers is that survivor that, might have not have been in a drive-by shooting, but, may have been shot and trying to recover. Give them some encouraging words that somebody has, always given you to get them through maybe the pain that they might be experiencing when it comes to, suffering a shot wound or, being shot and making it, if they're paralyzed, just let's give that survivor some encouraging words tonight.
So that is a lot, but I would just say you have to take one day at a time. Tomorrow may not be like yesterday. Every day is different, but you have to make sure that you're mentally prepared. You have to have mind over matter, because at the end of the day, if your
Mhm.
mind isn't there, if you don't have your whole mind, your whole heart into it, then that pain will overcome what you are trying to do, and it will defeat you if you allow it to. But I want anyone to know that whatever it is that you're going through, that you can get through it. You're looking at someone who, they counted me out. They thought that I was
Yeah,
not going to survive. They thought they was going to silence me,
yeah.
but you cannot allow the pain that you're going through, whether it's mental or physical or emotionally, you cannot
Mhm.
allow that to silence you, because you are a survivor. And if you're still here to face another day, then that means you still have something inside of you that someone needs. So don't allow that situation that you've been through to defeat you, because you are built for this. You are built to succeed, and everything that you need is inside of you. You just have to sometimes reach way down inside. And you have to also understand that just because you went through that thing, that there is going to be another thing that you're going to have to go through, and you're going to have to go back and get all the
Mhm.
stuff, everything that you went through. You're going to have to go back and pull it so that you're able to get through it, because when you get through something, there's going to be something else. but it's mental, it's mind over matter, so you can get through it.
Girl, that's why I love you. Oh my God, I just got chills. Like, I'm that survivor. You would have thought I done went through something like that. Cause girl, I'm like, all of that was amazing. And one of the viewers wants you to talk to them about forgiveness. They have been through not a similar situation, but got shot by someone that they love, and they're struggling with the forgiveness. So they are asking that you speak to them
Yes.
about getting through the forgiveness piece of it.
Yes. So forgiveness is something that only that you and God, only God can get you through it. It's
Mm-hmm.
ironic that that question just came to me. I've been dealing with some other things in life. And before the call,
Mm-hmm.
I had someone close to me. She just passed, like literally just passed before the call. And as I was
I'm
sitting
sorry,
in my
boo.
mirror talking and crying, God gave me that word, forgiveness. In order to forgive,
Mm-hmm.
you have to, well, in order to heal, you have to forgive. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying to go, a lot of times we feel like when we forgive someone, that means we got to bring them back into our lives. No, you can forgive
Yeah.
them for yourself so that you can go into your next season. You just have to,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
have to by yourself, and you have to understand that this person will not strip me from who I am. He will not, or she will not strip me from what I'm capable of, because see, that's when
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness takes place, when you're able to look that person in the eye and you're able to pray for them, because they're not praying for themselves most of the time. They're not even aware of the things that they're doing to you, that you're even hurt. And when someone physically hurts
Mm-hmm.
you, they wanted to do that. See, I've been through domestic abuse. I've been through that as well. So
Yeah.
I have to use
Yeah.
and I have to understand that this person or that person needs that help.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
for someone, you just have to know that you can chunk up the deuces and you can keep on moving,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you have to want better for yourself, and you have to want to be able to sleep at night. Why do you want to give someone all that control? See, they try to take your life. They try to take your mind. So once you get it back, why you want to continue to hold on to something that God removed you from? He removed you from that situation. So it's no need to hold on,
Yeah.
because they need to get themselves right. And we have to focus on us so that we break it, so that we don't take that cycle and we go hurt someone else, because hurt people hurt others. So we want to forgive
Yes.
so that we won't take that on.
Yes. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was so amazing. And I always have to tell, survivors that forgiveness is for you. It's not
Mhm.
for the other person. And we hold ourselves in bondage when we don't forgive. And it took me a long time to understand that, because my name was Alissa D. Jones, okay?
Mhm.
Because I'm gonna get you for
Right,
hurting me. And
right.
I really had to understand that God said, "Let vengeance be mine." And until it really clicked in my head, because I'm gonna come and get you.
Mhm.
I'm trying to tell you, my
That's
middle name was Medea because I was coming. But I really had to understand about sitting still and letting God take care of those
mhm.
people for me, or anybody that had done me wrong.
That's right.
So one of the things I want you to do to wrap up
Mhm.
tonight, and then I'll close out the show, is tell us who Kim is today. Tell us how that situation birthed a new and approved Kim. Because see, I feel it. I know that there's some things that changed about you after this process. Your faith might have got a little bit stronger. Your prayer life might have got a little bit stronger. So tell us who Kim is today.
Yes. So I am Kimberly Ann. I'm built for whatever it is that comes my way. I know that I'm able to go through. It's kind of like a palm tree. You know, you go through, it goes through so much. It tosses, it turns, it bends, but it doesn't break. So I know I'm built for whatever situation. I'm built for whatever. It may come to me to try to knock me down, but I know that I'm going to stand strong. I know that my faith is so much stronger than it was before, because I would let any little thing get me off course. I will let any little thing
Yeah.
get me off, but I know that I have a calling, and that calling is to share my story. As long as I have breath in my body, I will share the goodness of God,
Yeah.
and how He has built me, how He has molded me into the person that I am today. Because at one point I was a mess. I was tore up. I was in the club. I was doing everything in the world that you can think of. But
Yeah.
now I
Yeah.
am asking that everyone sees God in me. Don't see Kimberly. See what God has put in
Yeah.
me, and who He has created me to be. Because um, it's a good thing. I always tell people life is so much greater on the other side, especially domestic
Yeah.
survivors. God is so much greater on the other side when you decide to take that leap of faith and step out on faith.
Yeah.
And I know
Yeah.
who I am. I'm not that little girl anymore that was scared to speak. I'm not that little girl anymore that was scared to say what she felt. I am Kimberly Ann, and I'm built for this, and you all are built for this as well. So you keep your heads up, you stay motivated, you don't let anyone take your joy, you don't let anyone take your smile, because God uniquely, and He created you, and you can achieve and accomplish anything that you want, because you are a survivor.
I love it. And I love what you just said. You are built for this. And a lot of people don't think that they are. And I always tell people, God doesn't give you any more than you can bear. So, Kimberly, I just want to sincerely thank you for sharing your story tonight. I want to take the time to talk to that survivor that may have been through something, or have been going through something, or a situation similar to this, and you need mental capacity to get through it. Definitely connect with the organization Survivors with Voices Foundation. Will connect you to survivors like Kimberly Ann that can walk you through it. As you listen to her testimony tonight, you see that she is healed and delivered, and is really using her voice to make an impact on everybody that comes in contact with her. I am grateful to be a friend of hers. I'm grateful to be really connected to her. So we just want to talk to that survivor tonight, that do not lose hope. As you can see, this wonderful woman sitting here is a true testimony of God's grace and mercy. And we want you to know that you are definitely a goodness of God's grace and mercy as well. So, again, I want to thank our guest tonight, Kimberly Ann, for sharing her wonderful testimony. And just the fact that she's still here to share is amazing. And we also want to thank you for sharing the encouraging words that you shared with our survivors and our viewers tonight. And again, I am Alissa R. Jones, the founder and CEO of Survivors with Voices Foundation. I want to thank you all for tuning in and participating in the show. We will actually be back next week with another wonderful topic. We are going to end the show, and we want to thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.